Hi, it's Randi Rhodes. Hope you enjoy this free clip from Political Voices Network. Yes, we're at the point in the criminal enterprise known as the United States of America, where you must have a justice in your pocket in order to do your criminal business. I mean, how much more do we need to learn? How much more do we need to learn about Clarence Thomas? I mean, this is bizarro world. It's not just him, and it's not just their wives, and it's not just Clarence. Now we find out it's John and Jane Roberts. Yeah, it's them and Kellyanne, who was, the senior advisor to President Trump. She was also, funneling the money, laundering the money through her polling company to Ginni Thomas's fake poll. I mean, it is just. It's such a predictable route. It's such a predictable corruption. I mean, it's knowable. Everybody could see it. So surprise, surprise, everybody. Surprise. Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginni, was getting payoffs on her own, separate and apart from his. Because, when you got your hands out, it's better to have four hands begging than two. Ask anybody who's ever begged. Holy crap, man. So, listen, the thing here is these will never go down as the greatest justices in the history of the Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas will never be one of the greats. Okay, he will be known as the most corrupt only because Scalia was able to die on a hunting trip in a rich guy's hunting camp. Right? He was able to die there, and then everybody said, "Well, he's dead. You can't talk badly about the dead." And that's how he got away with it. But we now know that there were 70 payments to Scalia. That Scalia literally, was writing, I was going to say prescriptions because that's almost like what these opinions are. They're things that, would stop what ails the gun industry. They're prescriptions for the things that ail the fossil fuel industry. They're things that hobble our ability to vote because the Republican Party is very unpopular these days. Why? Because obviously they're taking away people's rights and people don't like it. But these payments to Ginni Thomas came from the guy who, if not for, I didn't give Alice a shout out yesterday. This is Sheldon Whitehouse. He's the new bobblehead on board. Okay, he's the new one, everybody. And this was a gift to me, a Christmas gift to me from Alice D. I don't want to say your name, your last name, Alice, because you'll get hate mail, is what you'll get from people who don't understand the beauty and the forthrightness of a Sheldon Whitehouse. But anyway, Alice, thank you. I've neglected to say where I got it. But the reason why Leonard Leo's name is not because I say it right, because I've butchered it, 100,000 times in the last, 8 years. I call him Leo Leonard, Leo. Yeah, but I know exactly who I'm talking about. This guy it's like Sheldon told you. Leonard Leo he doesn't have business in front of the court. Leonard Leo's business is the court. Rigging the court, fixing the court, paying the court. Okay? He's the buffer. So they don't have to kill anybody. Do you know what I'm saying? And, they got a lot of buffers over there. And Ginni Thomas is apparently one of them. And Clarence is one of them. And Leonard Leo is one of them. And Harlan Crow is one of them. And now we're finding out that, rich billionaires die and they leave $1.6 million or $1.6 billion, $1.6 billion from a Chicago investment guy, died and left $1.6 billion to Leonard Leo's organization so that they can, make the government exactly what their goal was, 40 years ago, 50 years, I don't even know how long it was when Grover Norquist said that the goal was to make the government so small you could drown it in a bathtub. Now, who would want an unresponsive government that you pay taxes to? They don't pay taxes. And that's also part of the rigged system. But who in their right mind, other than the, few hundred billionaires in this country, I think there's 736 of them or some small number, but they're running everything. They're purchasing every moving part of the government to shrink it and make it drownable in a bathtub. Who that pays taxes would want a government that's not responsive to you in a hurricane or in a flood, or if there's a criminal enterprise operating in your village, your town, your city. Who would want a defanged, unable to respond government? Only billionaires. Why? Because we see what they do. They hire their own military. Oh, by the way, mentioning that, yesterday, I guess I was supposed to, but I didn't talk about, the big deal with, the Kremlin and the drone, and that, Medvedev and Putin are saying that Zelensky tried to assassinate him with a little drone that was captured on a 4K camera that was pointed right at the point of contact so that that video could be processed and sent around the world, and Putin could claim that it was Zelensky and Ukraine that tried to assassinate him at a place he never is, the Kremlin. No. I'll tell you who did it. Want to know who did it? And this is based on nothing. It's just based on me knowing what's going on in Ukraine and not really talking about it all that much because it's secret. I'll tell you who did it. Prigozhin did it. Yeah. The Wagner Group guy did it. Why? Because he's been begging Vlad for ammunition for I don't know how long in Bakhmut, where he was rope-a-doped. Okay, that's what's going on in that little town. That's why, people have said to you over the, transom of the media, when they explain to you what's going on in Ukraine, and some do and some don't, but when they do, they tell you that this thing in Bakhmut is over land that's really, it's not strategic, and it doesn't have value, and it's not like mining, and there's no energy there, and there's no, it's not Zaporizhia that has their largest, nuclear power plant to power. No. It's just like, and they were smart enough in Ukraine to rope-a-dope them, to draw Prigozhin and the Wagner mercenaries and all these criminals that came out of jails all across, the region, okay, all across Chechnya and all across, I don't want to say Serbia because that's, I don't know, but Chechnya and Siberia, right? All these criminals signed up, to go get their freedom by fighting to the death for the Wagner Group. Well, he doesn't have any more ammunition. And he's been asking Putin for ammunition. And you know what Putin's answer is? No. No, because you're failing in Bakhmut.